Animes. They have evolved during the past few years, moving from this niche hobby only popular for weebs to a multi-million-dollar industry targeting the general audience. You just need to look at the difference in seasons between early 2000s to more recent ones and you will see the difference in volume. While previously we had 5 or 6 seasonal shows, now we get up to 30 or even more. But that comes with a price. First of all is that in this day and age, streaming services are fighting tooth and nail to get the rise of each anime. Long gone is the days past where you could watch everything on a single platform. You want to watch Overlord? Go to Crunchyroll. Call of the Night? Well, it's on HIDIVE. Uncle from Another World? It's a Netflix original. And because of that, here comes the second downside. Anime quality. When you think about a good anime, you always think about the combination of two things. Animation and story. Both things need to be well balanced, but it is not a lie that at the starting point, the animation is way more important. Because without a good animation, no matter how S-tier your story is, it will always be remembered as the anime that didn't live up to the source material. And in this day and age, with so many animes being shoved into your face every season, you can't be expected to watch everything that is available. That's where the 3-episode rule or the 1-episode rule comes from. You give it a few episodes before deciding if you're dropping or keep watching it. And in the past, animes lived and died by this rule. If your first episode wasn't catchy enough or suffered from lack of development or quality, it would be quickly forgotten. I personally experienced this when watching Made in Abyss. After the first episode, I dropped it because I thought the story looked childish to me. Little did I know that this anime was the definition of depression. Now, studios are not the best decision makers regarding animes. They make changes to the story simply because they didn't like where it was going, or skip full arcs and don't even mention the previous events in the story, leaving anime-only watchers confused. But with enough time, they can learn and adapt to fit the new international audience that they are reaching. Case in point, the latest seasonal animes of summer 2022. This season is packed with returning animes, so honestly, if you have watched the previous season, you are probably going to watch this season too. But when looking at the new animes, it is not an understatement to say that this season has been lacking to say the least. Aside from 1 or 2 animes, most of the new animes that are at the top of the list of this season would have been mediocre or bad in other seasons. But, going back at the beginning of the season, I have to admit that I was deceived for just a moment. I seriously thought that this was going to be one of the best seasons we had for new animes in years. And why is that, you ask? Well, for one simple reason: the animation. Just look at this high quality in animation. The running, the background, those gaming screens that seamlessly blend with the scene. The jiggle. I honestly think that looking at just the first episode of each anime, you would think that the studios are finally trying to improve, giving us the animation that we always deserved. Finally, long gone are the berserk years of bad animation, and now we can finally focus on whether the story is good or bad rather than complaining about the animation quality. And here comes the bad CG. It looks like finally anime studios have cracked the code. Let's put all our budget into the first episode, so that people keep watching our anime, and then they will have to keep watching it because they invested enough time into this bad story. In this season only, more than a few animes have done it. Smile of the Ars Notoria spent all its budget on the first few frames where the girl is walking upstairs, and on the final scene where the knights massacre a village, just for the shock value. And what do we have next? 8 more episodes of Slice of Life where the girls really do nothing just to promote a mobile game. My Isekai Life put all its budget on its first episode, showing us how generic isekais can live up to the standards of good shows if they just put enough frames per second. And then, we have the badly animated Blue Dragon and the typical generic story of a guy with OP powers that tries to hide its true abilities. And Engaged Kiss. I swear to God, they put all the money on that single kiss scene. And the only show that proved me wrong was the one with the lowest quality of animation. Lucifer and the Beast with Hammer came out as a horrible adaptation to a highly acclaimed manga that, honestly, the story just gets better after the first 4 or 5 episodes. But this story suffered the Berserk treatment, as the animation was the lowest compared to the other animes, so people mostly dropped it after the first episode. This situation is both good and bad, as on one side, it would be more difficult to measure whether an anime is good or bad based solely on 1 or 2 episodes, and no longer will we be able to hear the holy words that have ruled our anime watching experience. Yeah, the animation is shit, so I'm dropping it. So we'll need to spend more time deciding if a show is worth watching. But when we get a genuinely good show, that's when our efforts are paying off, as we will get an episode 1 that will blow our minds. But what happens next? Usually animes tend to spend more budget on important parts of the anime. That's why in Jujutsu Kaisen we had one of the greatest fight scenes ever animated, followed by the most mid animation in a baseball game. Or Ranking of Kings, where they spent on a real deft animator that actually recreated Sang language during the first episode, but later on this was barely ever done again. It is clear that not all studios are made equally. Higher budget studios will be able to give crisp animation in some scenes while maintaining a standard quality in less interesting episodes. But when a lower quality anime studio invests all its money on the first episode just to catch the audience attention, later episodes will pay the toll. And honestly, it looks like things in the future are not going to change. Because if nobody is watching your anime, what is the point of maintaining a consistent lower quality in animation? Better go all out at the beginning and hope that people will stay for the story. But we will have to wait and see. What do you guys think of this? Would you rather have a great first episode animation followed by bad episodes, or a mid animation for the whole way? Let me know in the comments below. And also, if you like my content, please like and smash that subscribe button. Until then, see you guys next time.